our teacher made a kid print off a dick pic and take home for his parents to sign it. Freshman year of high school, I went to Cuff Cath. I don't know if it was Cuff Cath or just the era of high school that I was in, but I was there from 2012 to 2016. And there was an obsession with drawing dicks on everything, dude. And I'm not just talking a couple here and there. I'm talking like Jonah Hill's lunchbox and Superbad.
I just sit there for hours on end drawing dicks. I don't know what it was. I couldn't touch the pen to a piece of paper without it drawing the shape of a penis.
Everyone was just obsessed with drawing dicks on everything. Like if you left a notebook in class and forgot to grab it, if there was a 5-minute span where you had something that was out, there was going to be a barrage of penis art all over it. And some of them would be so well drawn because we had a lot of good artists at Cuff Cath. You'd be like, bro, this is disturbing. I'm going to see this in my nightmares. There was just an obsession with drawing penises on everything. Maybe every high school was doing it at the time, but I think it was a little worse at Cuff Cath just because it was all guys and you could draw a graphic dick and not get in trouble because it was like, haha, I got you. It was so bad. Like, there was one time I left a notebook in a classroom all day. Couldn't find it. When I came back, it was a 3-subject notebook. There was a dick drawn on every single page. Multiple dicks drawn on every single page. I don't have an explanation for you. We draw dicks on each other's stuff all the time. Like, it's just what it is. So, with that in mind, we had a teacher at Cuff Cath at the time. We'll call him Schnee Daddy for the sake of the story. Schnee Daddy was a super strict, uptight dude in the teaching setting. And like, I don't know how he was outside of it, but as far as my experience with him, he was a super uptight, very rigid type of teacher. And we had this class, it was like technical applications. We all called it Tech App. Tech App sucked, okay? It was like learning basic computer skills. For the first like 10, 15 minutes of class every day, we had to do that type for your life type thing where you had to type so many words a minute to prove that you could do that. That was like part of passing the class. And it was our warm-up exercise for Tech App every day. Well, it's around Christmas time. It was right before Christmas break. And it was in a computer lab, so it was like 8 seats in the little octagon-shaped type setup. And there was a table right in the middle, and this kid, we'll call him Frodo. He got done typing, and there was always like a little intermission. There was like a 5 to 10 minute intermission between when we were typing and what we were learning that day in Tech App. So I'm sitting with a couple of my buddies at this table, and Frodo's octagon is right in the middle of everyone. So the whole class can see him, but he can't see us. It's just the way it was set up, like his back was turned to us. We happened to look up, and Frodo's on the little basic art computer software, and he is painting up the meanest Christmas dick I have ever seen. Like, literally was calling it the Christmas dick and giggling with a couple guys at his table. And we're watching Frodo make this green and red Christmas dick on his desktop. Like, it's right on the screen. He's not hiding it. It's just blatantly out on the screen. He's not even acting like he's typing or anything. He's carving up a Christmas dick. And we're like, damn, dude, that's a gnarly one. Like, what the heck is he even going to do with that? Because we're in Tech App. Like, he's just going to have to delete it. Maybe he's going to save it on his desktop. I don't know. But we're watching him do that. And the way that Schnee Daddy had his room set up, he could get up from his desk and start walking around without anybody really noticing. Frodo's not really paying attention. He thinks Schnee Daddy's still sitting down. Schnee Daddy's desk is over in the corner, and he gets up and starts walking around to see if everyone's done typing. And I think every kid who's been in a classroom setting, anyone who's ever been in a classroom setting could probably relate to this. It was one of those things where the whole class starts to realize Schnee Daddy's going to see this Christmas dick, but nobody can, like, tell Frodo, like, dude, exit out, because you're going to get in trouble too. And like I said, Schnee Daddy was just the type of dude, he loved to hand out detention slips, at least my freshman year. He was always looking to give somebody a detention. So he is roaming the room, walks past a few of the octagon tables, and then just stops. And I cannot tell you how funny it was watching Frodo continue to go to town like his Picasso Mozart moment on this Christmas stick, and Schnee Daddy just standing behind him. Eventually is just standing behind him, watching him paint this penis picture. Like he's in art class, and the whole class knows that Schnee Daddy's just standing behind Frodo, but Frodo has no idea. So it was probably only like 30 seconds, but it felt like 10 minutes. And the whole class is like, you feel terrible for Frodo because you know he's getting in trouble, but at the same time, you're trying so hard not to laugh. Like me and my whole table, we're just like biting our lips watching him make this dick and giggle with his table. And what was so funny is, again, it's like an octagon shape. So the two kids that could see Frodo's desktop at his table, they suddenly start laughing and just kind of turn back and they're typing. And Frodo just keeps giggling, making this dick. And then all of a sudden, Schneedaddy finally goes, wow, nice artwork. and Frodo is like, oh, like he just like, he gives him the turnaround like, oh my God, how long have you been standing there? So he's like, well, first of all, that's going to be a detention. Why don't you print that off for me? So he makes Frodo print off his penis picture that he's drawn. And not only did he make him print it off and give him a detention, he made Frodo take it home and told him that his parents had to sign it and he had to bring it back with a signature from both of his parents. So we were waiting for the next tech app class, and when we got back, we're just dying because Frodo pulls out his Christmas dick, goes up and gives it to Schneedaddy with both parents' signatures. We all cut up and laughed about that. It was really freaking hilarious. And we asked Frodo, we're like, dude, what did your parents say? And they gave him the same answer that every Cupcath parent gets. Like, why? Like, why were you drawing a penis in class? Like, what is the obsession with dicks? I don't understand. So that was probably one of the funniest. That, and I've got a couple other Cupcath traditions that were just absolutely hysterical. And like I said, maybe it is really common just to draw dicks everywhere. I think at an all-guys school, the gay jokes aside, it probably was just more of like a funny thing there because you could get away with being a little bit more crude and stuff without somebody getting offended or upset. But man, I'm telling you, you left a notebook or anything, you were getting some of the gnarliest dick drawings I've ever seen on your stuff. It was so bad. One of my buddies even drew dicks on one of our friend's car rims, and he couldn't get them off because he drew them in Sharpie. Like, it was bad, dude. It was just people were notorious for drawing dicks, man. It was absolutely so you wonder why Cupcath gets all the gay jokes, like the all guys stuff aside. We're out here drawing dicks on each other's stuff all the time. And the worst part would be if you didn't know that you had a dick drawn in something and you go to open up like a notebook or go to turn in homework and there's just a gnarly cock on your freaking paper and you're like, oh my gosh, sorry, got to redo that. Like, oh my goodness, that was just ridiculous, But that was Cupcath. That's Cupcath in a nutshell. And Schneedaddy, anyone who is a Cupcath colonel or was during that era who knows who Schneedaddy was. And I gotta say, like, as a freshman, I thought he was like the worst dude ever because it really did seem like he was one of those guys who's just out to get kids in trouble. And that was always my pet peeve growing up in school. Is like, if you're a teacher, these kids are figuring themselves out, trying to, decipher what type of person they want to be in the world, and you make them resent certain elements of becoming an adult when you take out your frustration, anger, or personal life on the kids as a student. And it really always just felt like Schneedaddy did that. Like, dude, who hurt you? Like, what is your problem? Like, why do you come at kids the way that you do? Because it really just seemed like he was one of those guys. He just loved giving out detentions. Like, genuinely enjoyed handing that pink slip to a kid, knowing he was just making that kid feel like shit for the day. And again, I'm going to speak from a perspective because, like, that was just a perspective I had as him as a freshman. And actually, as we got older, by my senior year, I had heard a lot of stories. Like, he was a golf coach as well. He was pretty cool. Again, it's all perspective. Like, I heard as a coach, he was a pretty cool dude. And honestly, as I got older, I was a jackass at Cupcath. And me and Schneedaddy had a lot of run-ins that I was actually usually able to talk my way out of. Because really, I think he was one of those guys. He was really just very strict to the rules, but he still gave you the chance to at least explain yourself if you got caught doing something. And I was able to talk my way out of a couple of detentions from Schneedaddy. So personally, for me, I know he was like the butt of a lot of jokes at Cupcath, and people gave him a lot of shit. But Schneedaddy, to me, was just one of those real uptight dudes. But if you actually talked to him like an adult and like a young man that you were expected to be at Cupcath, he was actually pretty chill. So shout out Schneedaddy. That's one of my favorite. That was like halfway through my freshman year. So that was just like one of my favorite stories from freshman year. Again, I can't even begin to describe. Like, I will never forget vividly just watching this poor kid in the middle of the class. The whole class knows that he's drawing a dick. The whole class knows that the teacher is standing right behind him. Schneedaddy's sitting behind him, hands on hips, just watching in total disappointment as this Christmas dick is being drawn on his desktop. Man, that That was one of the funniest things I've ever seen. And to make a kid go home and be like, hey, I got a detention for drawing a cock on my desktop. Can you sign it for me so I can take it back to my teacher? That's where I feel like Schnee Daddy has to have a great sense of humor because, again, to make the kid go home and tell his parents, hey, I got a detention for drawing a cock, like that is comedy in itself. And then can you sign it for me so I can return the cock to the teacher? So the Christmas dick, that will never be forgotten. And I think he even had Christmas dick. He wrote Christmas dick above it before he started drawing the penis itself. So that was just hilarious, just hilarious. And any Cuff Cath kids, make sure you tap in. I need to know if dick drawing is still a thing and if nugging backpacks is still a thing because those are some of the funniest memories I have from high school. So shout out all my Cuff Cath colonels out there. If you follow, I appreciate it. And go subscribe to the YouTube. And we're just going to keep grinding with these stories. And I hope everybody's doing well. Talks with Tom.
She starts crying, she flips out. And she rats me out to the principal. He finds his Ghostbusters lunchbox dick treasure chest, and he fucking flips out.
I was riding around town thinking to myself, is it gonna get easier? I'll be up and away up the street and big, but I can't even breathe no more. What's it to me? What can I see? Taking shots by the lake till I can't even breathe no more. See no more.
Mic check, mic check, mic check, and we're good. Our teacher made a kid print off a dick pic to take home for his parents to sign it.